Hey everybody, this is Michael Estes. It's time to claim your seat, embrace the narrative that defines triumph. This is a Seat at the Table podcast where dreams are kindled and destinies are crafted. Welcome aboard. Hey, welcome to a Seat at the Table podcast. Once again, I am here. This is our week 5. Our first episode started a couple of months ago. We're on episode 5 now, and I have the great friend of mine, Sabrina Berhane.
Thank you for having me here, Michael.
Hey, thank you so much. I mean, it's been great. You know, it's funny because we have a lot of history.
We do have a lot of history.
Yeah, we have a lot of history.
Yes.
And I wanted to have you on the show to give you an opportunity to share some of that history, but also to share with the audience the wonderful entrepreneurial journey that you have been on since I've known you, and just kind of conversate and do some things that will help others and inspire others to go to the next level in their entrepreneurial journey. So you ready for that?
I am ready.
All right. So I got some questions here. I'm going to start off with what inspired you to start your entrepreneurial journey, and how did your background shape your path?
So this is a really unconventional story,
Okay.
but I had a child in college and I wanted to claim my time. And so that is how my entrepreneurial journey began. Outside of college, I ended up getting a job, with my degree.
Okay.
And I used to have to ask for time off. And so I decided to become a realtor so I could claim my time.
Okay.
And real estate led to coffee shops, and coffee shops led to real estate and consulting, and just kind of becoming a businesswoman within Sacramento.
Oh, okay. So
And
go ahead.
how did it shape me?
Yeah.
So going even further back, when my sister and I was 15 and she was 13, our dad bought us a business. And he bought us the cushion and pillow outlet in Modesto.
All right.
And we had to sew cushions and pillows and table runners, and we had a full warehouse, and we had a full-time seamstress, and that was our first business. And I remember thinking, well, that's kind of cool, like to work for ourselves. But then I got a car and I never showed up again. So he sold the business.
Okay.
But I do think that him giving us that kind of opportunity at such a young age was really what started the pathway to us being able to become entrepreneurs.
Oh God, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great right there. So, what was the moment you realized this was a path you wanted to pursue, and how did your personal values and experience influence that decision?
The moment I realized the path of, I'm going to say, of entrepreneurship, not in any capacity of what I've done, was when I had my time back, when I was able to take my son to school and pick him up from school and be the single mom in the group, but the one who was always picking everybody up.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. I never missed a soccer game. I never missed a play, or he was a musician. I never missed a concert. And I think that was when I realized that was the right path for me, because we came from a family where time was actually your most valuable asset, more than anything else. And so I may have given up what people thought of as stability, including my father believing that, but I claimed my time. And I think that's the only thing that I will never be able to get back. So it's worked for me. And there's been a lot of bruises along the way, but it's worked well.
Yeah, well, that
Lot of
entrepreneurial journey goes up and down and
It
up and
does.
down and up and down all the time. And I
It
think
does.
that's something that people don't realize.
Yeah.
But if you don't realize, just go hang out at an amusement park and get on the roller coaster, because that's the kind of ride it is.
That really is the ride
Yes,
it is. Yeah.
that's the kind of ride. Okay, so can you describe a critical turning point or a moment of significant adversity in your career? How did it shape your perspective and your approach to moving forward? How did it work?
A turning point or a moment of significant adversity in your career. I might have to come back to that one. I
Okay.
know that I had thought about that earlier, but
Mhm.
I'm going to come back to that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So what innovative strategies have you implemented in your business now that you believe others in the industry have overlooked or overvalued? Under or overvalued?
So I don't think that
That's a
I actually
curveball,
it is a curveball,
huh?
but let me give you a curveball because I don't think I actually have any innovative strategies. I think that I just go back to the basics of treating people with kindness and with respect in both coffee and in consulting and in real estate, and also listening.
Okay,
Right. So I don't think it's anything innovative that I do. I
okay.
think that I'm present when I'm in a moment. I think that I listen. I'm really good at addressing needs. Um, I like to leave a space where people feel better, and that works actually in business very organically. So I wish I could say I did something innovative.
Well, let me ask you this then,
Okay.
because you brought something up.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Because we started out and from what the audience know so far is, you were in the real estate industry and you are in the real estate industry, but
Correct.
what about coffee?
What about coffee,
Yeah,
Mike?
that's how we met, huh?
Yeah, you walked into my coffee shop one day.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And friendship blossomed from there. Well, what about coffee? How did that get started?
Yes, I mean, tell me about that.
Okay, another unconventional. So I had a commercial client at the time during real estate, and something kept coming up. It was an ice cream shop, right? It was La Bombe Ice
Okay.
Cream Shop in Esac. And I believe if you see something 3 times, and that literally is my magic number, that you act on it, right?
Okay.
So it pops up ice cream shop for sale. I call my sister and my mom. I was like, yeah, this is kind of a cute little place. And I'm always running the park, and there's never anywhere for coffee. Should we write an offer? And they're like, no. Like, okay. So it pops up a second time. The third time, I said, it just came up the third time. I'm going to call. And they had dropped the price by 50% that day.
Oh, cool.
And so then my sister said, write an offer. And we did. So the idea of us opening a coffee shop was like our retirement gig as siblings, like in the far future. But we
Right,
saw this
right.
opportunity. And it became the most community coffee shop where I made lifelong friends.
Yes, you did. I mean, like I said, that's where we met at. We met at the coffee shop,
It is.
and a lot of my colleagues today started from that coffee shop. That's where I met a lot of my colleagues today,
Thank you.
right in that coffee shop. So you have poured into my life with Tiferet Coffee Shop.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
like I said, it's about community and the way that you treat people, right? And the way that you make them feel. And I think that's my innovation.
Okay. Cool.
But like anything like really out there, I have no idea. And you know me. I mean, what
and I know you're
you want to
just
answer
free
that for
spirit,
me? I'm very free
yeah, free
spirited.
spirit.
I am.
Free spirit, and you just go, eat, love, pray.
That's
That's it.
exactly how I live my
Yeah,
life.
and that's how you do
Yeah.
it. And yeah, we could talk about a lot of things. Yeah, definitely. So the question that I wanted to know is, at the same time in the community, you are a leader in the
Thank you.
community, and have you navigated periods of crisis or uncertainty, and what lessons have you learned about resilience and adaptability, especially now?
Well, I can tell you, crisis or uncertainty, and this doesn't go very far back. I mean, there are periods of my life that I had crisis and uncertainty being a single mom realtor,
Got
where
it. Yeah, of
where
course. That's tough for a single dad realtor.
right where
Been there.
my dad was like, use your degree and go get yourself a state job, and I was like, no, thank you.
I get it.
No,
I
thank
get it.
you.
I get it.
So I struggled through that. But most recently, I would say would be the pandemic. I mean, that there was so much uncertainty having a small business coffee shop where I had employees who were relying on their paychecks. And my sister and I saying, did we build these 3 shops to lose them in a matter of overnight? Right. So we would spend hours and hours on the phone when everybody was shut down with attorneys, with accountants, with our employees, trying to figure out how we were going to be able to save our small business.
Okay. And you
Um,
had 3 shops.
we had 3 shops,
Okay.
and it was almost terrifying. But we also knew that we had been open 5 years and opened 3 shops ground level in that time period. So we knew
Right.
that we weren't going to work that hard to lose everything that we've started with. So about resiliency and adaptability, we did things like the day that we shut down our shops, we had just done shopping for all of our locations, right? So we had perishables, we had cookies, milk, coffee delivery. Like we were
Fully stocked.
fully stocked, and they shut us down. So we had rolled everything outside, masks on, drive-bys, opened up an account on like a PayPal, and everybody was able to purchase goods, buy 2 pounds of coffee and get a free gallon of milk, that kind of stuff.
Wow, that's
So
good.
people were driving by. We were selling all of our perishable goods. And then whatever we didn't, we were donating to shelters or, food banks and things like that. But we kept ourselves going by selling pretty much everything in our shops, including T-shirts, including our bags. Like people were so intentionally supportive, but that took us rolling carts outside and people just driving by and picking up goods that were prepaid for. So we really had to become creative in that sense. And then we were still open when this was over.
Yeah, well, I remember Tiferet Coffee Shop being a lifeline in the community anyway.
Thank you.
And I know with the
Wow.
pandemic coming, right?
Yeah.
And the pandemic happening, it was a lot of customers that depended on that coffee shop. I mean, I live in Elk Grove, and I would drive all the way to East Sac in the morning just to have coffee at your coffee shop.
Yes, thank you.
Because of the friendship that we established, and even the friendship with your mother, your late mother.
Thank you.
And I just want to.
She used to give free hugs. Do you remember that?
Yes, exactly. I remember.
She would stand there and give free
just
hugs.
stand there and we had some of the best conversations though. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Definitely. She was like my mom. It just was like that. That's
Growing up,
right.
She was the neighborhood mom. She was the community mother.
Right.
We would walk home from school and our friends would be having dinner at the house. We were not there.
Look, your friends eating and you're like, wait a minute, you're sitting in my chair.
I did. And I told them, you can't do that again.
Right.
This is my house.
Yeah. Wow.
But now my sister and I keep the same kind of household.
Yeah. So
and that was our shop.
God, I mean, I just have so many fond memories. So many
Thank
fond
you.
memories with your coffee shop, your family, your son. I watched him grow up.
You did.
But speaking of that, what is he doing now?
Funny you ask, Michael. So upon the sale of our coffee shops, my sister and I selling the coffee shops, our roaster decided to retire. And so my son and 2 partners now own the coffee roasting company that roast for my old shops and many of the restaurants in Sacramento.
Wow, what's the name of this company? Let's plug him right now. Let's get that out there.
Based Coffee Company.
You guys hear that? Based Coffee.
Coffee.
So basically, you know what? If you want some good coffee, and I can tell you right now, I know it's good because Tiferet coffee was good.
It's the same coffee.
And if it's the same coffee, you can get the same quality, the same value, and even the same genes running through that coffee.
And I still don't have to pay for coffee.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that great?
It is.
Yeah, isn't that great? So how is he delivering it? There's no coffee shop though, right?
There's no coffee. You can purchase it through our old shops. So we still have the 2 locations, the one on Alhambra and H, and the one inside Mercy General at 39th and J. Okay. So they white label those coffees, so you can still buy Based Coffee through Tiferet Coffee House.
Wow.
Or through Tiferet Cafe.
Okay.
Or you can go onto their website.
Okay. So what made you named your coffee shop Tiferet? Because I was saying it wrong, so I just
Everybody does. Everybody
right?
does. What?
Give me some origin behind that.
A little origin of that. Okay, so Tiferet is a Hebrew word from the Kabbalah.
Okay.
And it means gratitude.
Okay, got it.
But there is a larger meaning behind it. So through the Kabbalah, you have the Tree of Life, which if you remember our logo was a coffee cup with the Tree of Life coming out of it.
Yes,
so within the Tree of Life, the Tiferet is the center and everything else is around it. Strength, compassion, love, respect. So all of this, and there are many words.
Oh, of course.
Right. They all come together. And what my sister and I wanted to create, which I think we did a really good job of, was creating a space where everybody was equal and safe
Okay.
and the same, where everybody came together as one. And that was the Tiferet.
Wow.
Yeah.
The thing I remember about you and your sister, Makeda. Makeda. See, I was
Ooh,
kidding.
she's gonna get you.
Well, you know what? It's all good.
She's 3,000
you know what?
miles away.
Yeah,
It's okay.
but she can't get me.
She can't.
Hey, Makeda. I got it right. But the bottom line is, first of all, you guys look like twins.
Through we go through patterns. Yes.
Yeah. And you guys are, I know she just came from a trip. I think she went to Jamaica, right?
She was in Jamaica.
Yeah. And when I was looking at the picture of her through Facebook on the trip, I was like, okay, they're looking alike right now.
We do.
Yeah.
Every few years we look alike.
Okay. But just wanted to say hello to Makeda because you kept saying my sister.
Yes.
But people need to know who she is too.
Makeda. That's twice now.
I know. She's gonna be like, Michael.
She is.
Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. Let's move on. How has mentorship played a role in your life, in your professional growth? And can you share a piece of advice from a mentor that has stayed around you?
So I have 2 mentors that have really shaped who I am in very different parts of my life, not including my parents, who I think were obvious mentors. And I came from great parents. So one was in college.
Okay.
And he worked at the King Kennedy Center. And it was like the community center of Modesto, where I was. And we had a program called the Rites of Passage. And I was one of the facilitators on this. And we would teach people from different backgrounds about life, right? Life skills, how to write a check, how to write a resume, like literally the life skills that you don't get taught. And he mentored me. God, I'm still in touch with him, by the way, to this day.
Good.
And this is from early 90s. He taught me to always give back. I think his entire life was about giving back to his community and leaving it better. So he taught me that. And he taught me doing that in like really selfless ways. And it's also about, community and keeping everybody together and making sure that I can't think. There's a word that I'm trying to think of, and I can't, so I might have to come back to that.
Unity.
Unity is a good word. Yeah, unity. And I think I've lived my way.
And I said that because I know you, and I know what your values were and are. Even
they are.
when you were running a coffee shop. I remember as I'm thinking and reflecting back in the different times in my mind, I could see that big heart that was on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Remember we took a picture there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. When Black Lives Matter, we love you.
Yes. It just was
women of color owned.
Yeah.
That was a site in East Sacramento.
Right.
Yeah.
That was different.
That was different. That caused a lot of conversation.
I'm quite sure it did.
It did. It did.
Yeah. So what strategies do you employ to ensure your success is sustainable and not just a short-term achievement? How do you balance growth with stability?
I would say systems.
Okay.
Right? Systems in place, which I'm really bad about that, but I think that's how I think it's sustainable. So gosh, I mean, it depends on like what I'm doing. I have different systems, but I know that if I'm working on real estate this day, that I have a way that I work. When I went to the coffee shop, we had systems for everything so that they were never changing, right? And so any employee could go and go like, I know how to close. So I can sit down in real estate and say, okay, I know what I need to do today because this is my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday, my Thursday, my Friday routine.
And that's important too because
it's very important.
Most people, I know even for me, right, as an entrepreneur, you can be all over the place easy. Easy. But if you have a plan, right, the whole saying is most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan.
They fail to plan.
For me, I look at even for myself, right? Every Sunday I actually sit down and I set my entire week on Sunday.
You are better than me.
You know.
I wait till early Monday morning to do that.
Yeah, but I do that every Sunday, and it's like a 3.5, 4 hour process because I'm setting the whole week, and then I follow that. And what I find most importantly is the fact that by doing so, I can stay on track.
It's easier.
It's easier to stay on track, and then when you get distracted and you get thrown off balance, you know it. You know that you are, so that kind of helps me. So anyway, that's good.
And how do I balance growth with stability?
How do you do it?
I don't know. How do I balance growth with stability? I know that I'm always content. I'm never happy. And I don't say that. I don't say that in a bad way.
Yeah,
I don't say that in a bad way. But I always feel like I can do a little bit better, and so I wanna present my best me at all times, as much as possible. And so that naturally presents a growth.
Okay.
I think that just if you're doing the best that you can at all times, or at least 80% of the time.
So what's better though? What's better to you? What's better to Sabrina? What is doing better to Sabrina? Because what I see in the Sabrina I know has always been a high achiever in what it is that you're doing, but what is better?
Whatever I'm doing, I'm just taking the next step forward, right? So nothing is ever going to plateau in life.
Right.
So it's just always taking that next natural step to the best of my ability, whatever it is.
Okay. So basically, when you're setting your standards, by operating in excellence. Would that be kind of?
Yes, we got that from our parents.
Yeah.
Kindness and excellence.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that has helped me too. So I get it. I remember January.
I do too.
Yeah.
That was great.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about January.
Yeah. So, I'll let you start off. January.
Well, I decided. Do you want me to tell a little bit or a little bit more?
Tell as much as you want.
I'll tell as much as I want. I decided to take a 3-month sabbatical. We will call it.
Who does that?
I did.
Yes.
And I purchased a ticket to Spain and set up in a little apartment near the ocean and just kind of reset myself.
Okay.
However, one day I'm just sitting around and I'm just scrolling Facebook, and my friend Michael is
that guy?
is in Portugal.
Yes.
So I messaged you and said, "Hey, Michael, enjoy Portugal. I'm in Spain." And you immediately said, "I've never been to Spain. Can I come visit?"
Right.
Of course you can. So picked you up from the airport and we spent a day in Valencia, day and a half.
And it was a great time. I mean, it just was spontaneous.
It was spontaneous.
But you know what? I got on a plane and I'm like, you know what? I'm coming.
I know. And I didn't even have my bearings yet. I had only been there maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I think I'd been there 2 weeks when you got there. So I couldn't really show you around. And you were a trooper because I made you walk.
Oh, the girl had me walking like
5 miles.
I was having military army flashbacks.
That's the
big time.
You're
because
welcome.
because I was walking. I was like, okay, I didn't expect to walk this far, but it was good because we saw the city.
Well, and that's what I had been doing. Like I think the first month I was there, I walked everywhere while I was in Spain.
Right.
Used a little bit of transportation later on, but that's how I learned my neighborhoods and I started getting my bearings was walking. And so you were so gracious to say that you would walk with me, not knowing what you were getting into.
Oh no, I didn't.
I know.
I didn't think that we were going to be walking 5 to 7 miles because that's about what it was.
It was.
That's about what it was.
And how many neighborhoods did we see?
Oh, we saw so many.
I know.
And they were all different.
Every neighborhood is different.
That's the thing that really got me is they were all different and they were all beautiful.
Thank you.
Right?
I agree.
They were all beautiful.
Valencia stole my heart.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
If I, one of the things that I've said is I'd like to go back there and spend a couple of days.
Well, because you never got paella.
I never did.
You never did.
I never did. No. It was a whirlwind. It went by fast. It went by so fast. But you know what? You opened up your place to me and just the generosity of the first time that I met you, you were still the same, and I'm like,
Thank you.
wow, and it was just so good to see you. So that was good.
That was fun.
That was really good. So you've had a lot of adventures.
Correct.
Since that time, right? You were just on a trip where you
hiked a volcano
Yeah.
in Guatemala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll
it's
never
like
do that again.
it's like
That was hard.
where in the world is Sabrina at now, right?
Yeah.
Because you went from Spain
To Guatemala.
to Guatemala, and now you're back here.
Yeah.
You're getting ready to go somewhere else soon, right?
I'm going to Thailand in November with my son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Korea. And then I'd like to get myself back to Spain.
That's some good work-life balance right there.
Thank you.
That really is.
Thank you.
Another thing that and I just want to bring things out because we've been talking, and another thing that you're doing is you're building a house, right?
I am building a house.
Okay.
For myself
Talk about
to live
that.
in. Talk about that.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
So I decided I no longer wanted to live in my home for various reasons. And so I rented it out and decided to build an ADU next to it, which is actually a little bit larger than my home because I have a small house on a large lot.
Got it.
And why not?
You have a lot of land, right?
I had a lot of land. Dad is a retired general contractor.
Okay.
So I think that gave me the courage to be able to do this. But square foot wise, it makes sense to build a home versus to buy one right now, even as a realtor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that going?
It is kicking my butt.
The reality of it,
The reality of it is a lot. Lots of red tape that I'm having to overcome.
of course.
And I'm overcoming it. So I think my foundation is done. My underground plumbing is done. We're going to start framing next week. And I'd like to have the shell of it done by the end of the summer. And then we can start working on the interior through the rainy season.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well,
So-
that's always a difficult, challenging process because when we met, if you remember, I was flipping houses at that
Yeah.
time, and
Lots of red tape.
Oh my God! And Sacramento is crazy with it too when it
is.
comes to that, especially if you're building from the ground up. So that's But congratulations! I
Thank
think
you.
that's wonderful.
Don't be surprised if when I'm done with this, I get a contractor's license and start building.
No,
because I
why
kind
not
of
though?
I am
why
enjoying
not?
it.
Because you do learn. I know when
Yeah.
I was flipping houses,
Yeah.
I learned so much about what goes into the process of even getting permits, everything.
All of
It's just like you said, the red tape and some of the setbacks that you
Yep.
get because this can be this and this can be that, but then it can be this, and then it's just like, but that's the same thing.
It's the same thing. So you just
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's problem solving, and there is going to be a finished product at the end, and I really like that. Same thing about my shops. Like the operations of it was nice, right? I was
Right.
able to make
And you had
coffee
good
and meet people.
Yeah, and you had good employees.
We had great employees. Thank you.
Yes, you did.
But you know what I loved? I loved building the shops.
See, because that's that entrepreneurial spirit in you. It's like me, I like to
loved
build
it.
things, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm bored. What is next?
That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
the house is similar. I'm building something.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I get that. I get that.
It's very tangible.
Yeah. So looking forward, what is within the next 3 to 5 years? What is Sabrina? What do you see?
I
Sabrina?
actually have a very clear vision.
Okay.
In the next 3 to 5 years, I'm going to be living between here and Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, so part-time.
6 months and 6 months, like that.
Well, until I can work on citizenship, I'm trying to figure out a pathway to that. There's a couple of different ways to do that. I can do 90 days in, 90 days out. So, you can do the whole EU for 90 days.
of
Same
course.
reason I only did 90 days last time, or I would have stayed longer.
Right.
So I'll just do that for a while. So 90 days
And just keep
in
going
Europe,
back and forth.
Going back and forth.
The life
Yeah.
of an entrepreneur, huh?
Yeah.
With a
So-
grown kid.
So when I'm here, I'm going to be working hard.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, I'm not.
No, I get it. I totally get it. So with all that we've discussed up to this point, what kind of legacy do you want to leave in your field, as an entrepreneur? And what impact do you hope your work can have in this world? Because this world is kind of crazy right now.
Yeah,
But
it's a hard world.
Yeah, it's really hard.
So my sister and I talk about that. And we think that we've already began laying the foundation of our legacy collectively. Through the coffee shops.
Okay.
So when we sold, we had 3. One of them
Right.
never reopened. It was inside City Hall.
Right.
The other 2 that opened, we sold to our managers. And before we could get them to agree to purchase, because they were like, that's not something that I can do, nor afford, nor do I have the ability. And we said, you actually do. That's why we're talking to you about that. But we also were marketing it, right? And we were specifically looking for women or minority or LGBTQ or single mom or some type of a minority that would not otherwise have a chance to purchase and own a business.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
we were very specific about that. And so we sold to our managers, who are both women. And they meet, and then there was another partner that came in with the owner of Mercy. And between the 3 of them, they meet every single criteria that we had.
Wow.
And so we think that was part of our legacy, right? We left 3 women as small business owners in locations that are very inaccessible to people who don't have a lot of money to have their own business. So that is one thing, in addition to mentoring everybody on their way up. In real estate, and I'm working with somebody right now. I remember when I started, I was young. I was 25, maybe, if I do the math. And I looked 15. So nobody took me serious.
You still look 15.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So nobody took me serious, and it was really hard to get started. And so I have tried, and currently am working with a couple people in my office who kind of have that same dilemma, right?
Right. They look young. And people don't want to take advice.
People don't want to don't want to listen to them.
Right.
So I'm working with a couple of young realtors.
So you're mentoring them along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I want to leave an entire path of uplifted, successful people, specifically women.
Okay. So your superpower is service of others.
Service of others. And coffee.
Yeah. Okay. First you drink the coffee.
First you drink the coffee, and then you serve the others.
Then you put on the cake, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I leave a path of really successful people behind me.
Wow, that's good. That's
Thanks.
good. So in closing, let me ask you this question. What advice would you give to any aspiring entrepreneur or business owner that's just getting into the business or have been in the business maybe 1 or 2 years? And starting out on their journey, what's some good sound advice? This is where we're going to take your expertise and let you just kind of speak to the audience right now.
To be kind to themselves, because it is really hard to put pressures and limitations on yourself personally when you're trying to start your own business in whatever it is, right? I remember being really hard on myself. I think
we all are when we start.
But you have to be kind to yourself, because what people don't realize is once you become an entrepreneur, you're already ahead of everybody else.
There you go.
Right? Because you actually took that step. So that's courage, right? So you have courage, and you have a belief, and you have, you feel strongly about something, and you have this conviction that you want to contribute somehow into this world. And I think that alone is a step ahead. So to be kind. And also to find the work-life balance, which took me, I'm not going to say my age, but a really long time to figure out.
Well, and I just want to add to that is the piggyback off of what you're saying is that we have to learn that failure is something that you're going to experience as an entrepreneur. You just have to learn to fail forward.
I always tell people I failed up.
Yeah, and I
failed up for the last 20 years.
I mean, but how do you learn without failing?
Yeah,
and that's the thing, and because I remember in the beginning, even for myself, right? If something didn't work out right, it was like a dilemma. It was like the end of the world to me until I understood that was just part of the process.
It is just part of the process.
And you end up learning from it, right? You're like, not going down that alley again. Or whatever.
Or if I do, maybe I go sideways.
Yeah, you go, or you go with a shield, something like that.
Well, you have to be adaptable, right?
Right.
When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be adaptable. You have to learn to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really be able to assess situations.
Yes.
But I would also leave it at to never. I don't want to say never, but I'll say to not let your work become your identity.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's something that's really easy to do, is to make work your identity.
Right. So if there was just one strong positive thing that you could say to anyone that's going into any industry, it doesn't matter, or just something from your heart that you want to say, what would that be right now?
To believe in yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, to believe in yourself, even if nobody else does. But hopefully you have a team of people who do, that you can do anything, that our only limitations are our own, and to express gratitude every single day, even if you don't feel it.
Right.
To express gratitude. And I think that gratitude is really the momentum that has kind of kept things going as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it. Sabrina is a great friend of mine, but also a great example to anyone that's trying to get into business for themselves or even contemplating on starting a business. Sabrina, one more thing that I want to ask, how can people get in touch with you?
I would say my website, sabrinabhomes.com.
Okay.
And they could use that for business or for real estate. But at this point, that's the only really good way for them to get a hold of me.
Okay. Are you on Facebook?
Oh, I am on Facebook. Oh, and I just started IG too.
Oh, you just started?
I did.
Good for you.
A couple of months ago. Thank you.
Good for you. And how's that going?
I'm struggling.
Okay.
That's my learning curve.
Right.
That's my learning curve for sure.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
But it's
they can reach you.
They can reach me through, yes, actually it's Sabrina B. Homes on IG as well.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
Look at that.
I'm
getting
wow,
there.
you're getting there. You're getting there.
I also know you have to learn to know the right people too.
Know, like, and trust, right?
Absolutely.
And stay connected. Here we are after all these years. Now you're sitting on a Seat at the Table podcast, and you know what? We still pouring into one another.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
That's what it's all about.
It is.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Have a great day.